Hey, look who it is, Victoria called, her voice sharp like broken glass. The girl who still wears those hideous sweaters. I froze, my hands clutching my books tighter. Victoria, please, I stammered, trying to step around her. Please what? She laughed, her voice echoing down the hallway. That you'd stop being pathetic? That you'd suddenly have friends? I wanted to disappear, wanted the floor to swallow me whole. My stomach twisted. Damien leaned against the lockers, smirking. Honestly, I don't know why she even bothers showing up. She's a joke. I felt my cheeks burn. I just want to get to class, I mumbled, my voice barely above a whisper. Class? Oh, right. Maybe someone should remind her she's failing everything anyway, Victoria sneered. A few students nearby snickered. My chest tightened. I don't. I tried to defend myself, but Damien cut me off. Save it. No one cares really. You're just there. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. My mind screamed at me to run, but my legs refused. Then I felt it, the cruel laughter, snapping at my dignity like a pack of wolves. You know, Victoria said, leaning closer, I found something hilarious on your notebook. She waved a sheet of paper in the air. Look at this. I wish I was invisible. Ha! You actually wrote this? That's so sad. My fingers shook. That's private. Private? Oh, come on everyone, look at this, she yelled. A group of students circled around. She wants to be invisible. Isn't that precious? Stop it. I shouted, louder than I intended. My throat felt raw. It's none of your business. Damien laughed, a cold, cruel sound. Wow. The invisible girl is finally speaking. How pathetic you sound. I swallowed hard, trying to fight back tears. I don't care what you think, I said, though the words felt hollow even as they left my lips. Victoria tilted her head, smirk widening. You really are a joke. No wonder you have no one. Look at you, staring at us like a lost little puppy. I wanted to scream, to hit something, to make them feel even a fraction of this burning shame. But I didn't. I turned and bolted, my books clattering to the floor behind me. Run, little loser, run, someone jeered, and laughter followed me down the hall. I hid in the bathroom, pressed against the cold tile, trying to breathe. My hands were shaking. My chest hurt, but it wasn't just embarrassment. It was anger, sharp and raw, crawling under my skin. Why do I let them do this to me? I whispered, gripping the edge of the sink. I'll show them. One day they'll regret it. Every word, every laugh, they'll regret it. I stared at my reflection, and for the first time, I didn't see the shy, weak girl. I saw something else, something small, hidden, growing. A seed of defiance. They'll pay, I murmured. My voice was quiet, but my eyes burned with something fierce, something that wouldn't be silenced. Not ever again. I slammed the bathroom door behind me, letting the silence swallow the echoes of their laughter. My chest still ached, and my hands trembled from holding back tears. I can't stay like this, I whispered to myself, pacing. I can't just be small forever. Small? You mean invisible? My mother's voice startled me from the doorway. Honey, are you okay? I'm fine. I lied, too stubborn to admit the humiliation still stung. Just tired. Your father and I are worried, she said softly. You've been isolating yourself a lot lately. You know you can talk to us, right? I wanted to scream, to tell her they laughed at me, mocked me, tore me down while I couldn't fight back. Instead, I said, I'll be okay. Really? After dinner, I retreated to my room. I pulled out my laptop and scrolled aimlessly until a new notification caught my eye. International Excellence Scholarship Program. Applications open. I clicked. My eyes widened as I read about the opportunity. Prestigious, selective, life-changing. This could be it, I murmured. If I get this, I won't just be noticed. I'll have power, control, respect. You really think you can do it? My mentor, Mr. Caldwell, asked when I confided in him later that evening. His office smelled faintly of coffee and old books. I I don't know, I admitted, staring at my trembling hands. I've never even left the city. What if I fail? Failure is a lesson, he said gently, leaning forward. But staying small, that's a choice. You have talent, intelligence, and drive. Don't waste them hiding in fear. You can grow stronger, but you have to try. I bit my lip. It feels scary, leaving everything behind, starting over. Scary is good, he said with a knowing smile. It means you're stepping into something bigger than yourself. That night, I couldn't sleep. I replayed Victoria's mocking face, Damien's smirk, the whispers of classmates. Each memory fueled a fire inside me. They think I'll stay weak, I whispered to the dark. They think I can't fight back. I'll prove them wrong. I will. My father peeked in around midnight. You're still awake? Something on your mind? I hesitated, then said, there's this program, scholarship abroad. It could change everything, but it means leaving. Leaving is hard, he admitted, resting a hand on my shoulder. But sometimes leaving is how you grow. Don't let fear stop you from being who you're meant to be. I closed my eyes, imagining it. The bright campus, the new faces, the chance to be someone they couldn't laugh at. I'll do it, I whispered. I have to. Mr. Caldwell's words echoed in my mind, stepping into something bigger than yourself. And suddenly, the choice felt clear. I would leave. I would work harder than anyone imagined. I would return, not broken, but unstoppable. I won't just survive, I said aloud, voice firm, trembling with determination. I'll rise. They'll see, they'll regret underestimating me. Every laugh, every insult. They'll regret it all. I imagine Victoria's shocked face when she realizes I'm no longer the timid girl she mocked. Damien, powerless in the face of my success. The thought made my stomach twist, not fear, not shame, but a strange, sharp satisfaction. I'll take control. I promise myself. I'll grow stronger. I'll come back and nothing will be the same. And with that, the seed of revenge took root. I closed my laptop, feeling a spark of determination I hadn't known I possessed. For the first time, I wasn't just a victim. I was planning. I was preparing. I was becoming someone they could never ignore. The train rumbled beneath me as the city blurred past the window. I pressed my forehead against the cool glass. I can't believe I'm really doing this, I whispered. You look nervous. The voice beside me startled me. I turned to see a girl about my age, her hair tied back, eyes curious but kind. I admitted. First time away from home. Everything feels huge. You'll get used to it, she said with a smile. I'm Clara. And you? I'm just starting, I muttered. No one really knows me yet. Clara tilted her head. Good. That's your advantage. You can decide who you want to be. I swallowed hard. That's what I'm hoping for, to be someone stronger. When I arrived at the program, the dorms felt intimidating, students laughing in groups, everyone confident, polished. I kept to the shadows, clutching my suitcase like armor. You look lost, Clara called out again, waving me over. Need help finding your room? Yes, please, I said, relief flooding me. Her warmth was unexpected. In the room, I tried to unpack, but my mind kept replaying Victoria's smirk, Damien's laughter. My phone buzzed with notifications, messages from them. Still ugly, still pathetic, one read. Another. Hope the big city doesn't chew you up. I stared at the screen. My fingers itched to reply, to lash back, but I clenched my jaw. Not yet, I whispered. Patience. Play smart. Later, in orientation, the instructors handed out schedules. Everyone seemed confident. I felt small again. You're quiet, Clara said, sitting beside me. But I can tell you're paying attention. That counts for more than talking loud. I smiled faintly. Thanks, it's just everyone seems so perfect. Perfect's a mask, she said knowingly. You'll see. A lot of them are insecure too. Don't let it scare you. You're capable. I can tell. Her words made a spark flicker in me. I hope so. I really do. Over the next few days, I struggled. Assignments that challenged me, social dynamics that confused me, rules I didn't understand. Every night, I called my mother once, just to hear her voice. But Clara was there too, guiding me when I got frustrated, offering tips for surviving group exercises, and reminding me that I wasn't invisible here. "You're stronger than you know," Clara said one evening as we stayed late to finish a project. "Don't let anyone make you doubt that." I nodded. "I'm trying harder than I ever have. I can feel myself changing." "Good," she said. "Change takes time, but you're on the right track." That night, I scrolled through social media again. Victoria had posted a picture of our old group laughing without me. Damien commented, "Still a loser, huh?" I stared, fists tight, then locked the phone. "Not yet," I whispered again. "Patience. Everything is a step, and soon I'll have the power to make them regret underestimating me." For the first time, I felt the weight of independence, the freedom to make choices, the challenge of proving myself, the quiet thrill of knowing my own mind and skills were enough. "You're going to do great here," Clara said the next morning, her grin encouraging. I think I will," I said, feeling a small but steady confidence grow. "And one day they'll see. I'm not the same girl they mocked anymore. Not at all." "I don't get why they paired me with him," I muttered under my breath, staring at the spreadsheet. My project partner, Alex, already had a smug grin. "You talking about me?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "Because I'm right here." I looked up quickly, forcing a smile. "No, I just prefer to work alone sometimes." Alex laughed, the kind of laugh that made everyone notice. "Alone? Sure, if you want to fail." I clenched my jaw, but let it slide. "Then maybe you should focus on not messing up the presentation," I said softly, but my eyes were sharp. Later, during our first meeting with Professor Hargrove, I realized the real stakes. "Your internship selections will be influenced by how you perform here," he said, scanning the room. "Impress me and doors open. Fail and opportunities vanish." I leaned forward, absorbing every word. "So, your favor matters," I whispered to Clara, who nodded beside me. "Exactly," she said. "Play smart. Use your skills, not your temper." After the session, I pulled Clara aside. "I think I understand now, influence can be subtle. You don't have to fight everyone head-on." She smiled. "You've always been observant. Just make sure you don't underestimate anyone." Over the next few weeks, I experimented carefully. During group discussions, I pointed out overlooked solutions. When Professor Hargrove asked questions, I answered with precision, watching his approval grow. "You've got potential," he said one afternoon, glancing at my notes. "If you keep this up, I might recommend you for the internship program abroad." My pulse quickened. "You really think so?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "I do. But you'll have to navigate the others carefully. Not everyone likes competition," he warned. Competition. That word made me smile quietly. "I can handle it," I said. Then there was Lila, my rival, who seemed to sense my growing presence. "You think you're clever, don't you?" she snapped one day during a lab session. "Trying to get all the attention?" "I just want to do my best," I said calmly, avoiding her glare. "I'm not here to compete with you personally," she huffed. "Sure. Just don't get in my way." Her arrogance only fueled me. I realized influence didn't mean crushing someone. It meant positioning yourself smartly. I started offering help subtly to classmates, earning allies without making it obvious. One evening, Clara caught me reviewing the internship list. "You're quiet, but I can tell you're plotting," she said, teasing. "Not plotting, observing," I corrected. "I need to know how much control I can actually have." "Control can be a gift or a weapon," she said thoughtfully. "Be careful." I nodded, feeling the old ache in my chest, the memory of Victoria and Damien mocking me, but I buried it. "I won't let it consume me. Not yet. I'll wait, watch, and then act." That night, I sat in the quiet dorm, sketching connections in my notebook. Every favor I earned, every subtle influence I gained, added a thread to a larger web. It was intoxicating, but the pain of past humiliation lingered, a shadow I couldn't quite shake. I'm stronger than they think, I whispered to myself. Stronger, smarter, and one day I'll prove it. Not with anger, with precision. Professor Hargrove's words replayed in my head. Doors open for those who play smart. I realized power wasn't loud or cruel. It was quiet, strategic, and deliberate. I'll rise, I said, closing the notebook. And when I do, they won't know what hit them. I think you're ready, Professor Hargrove said, tapping the folder in his hand. The internship committee meets tomorrow. I'll be recommending a few names. I try to keep my voice calm. Thank you, Professor. That means a lot. He studied me for a second. Talent is useless without discipline. You have both. Don't waste it. I won't, I said, and I meant it. Outside his office, Clara grabbed my arm. You did it, didn't you? I haven't done anything yet, I replied, though my heart was racing. She lowered her voice. Come on. I saw the way he looked at you. That recommendation is gold. I know, I whispered. And that's why I have to be careful. That night, I got the email. Shortlisted for Global Development Internship. My hands shook as I read it again. This is real, I murmured. This actually affects people back home. Clara leaned over my shoulder. Including him. I nodded slowly. Including Damien. You sure you want to go this route? She asked. Once you step in, you can't pretend it's an accident. I'm not pretending, I said quietly. I'm choosing. The next morning, my phone buzzed with an unexpected message. Victoria, didn't know you were trying to be impressive now. I stared at the screen. She knows, I muttered. She always notices when she's not the center, Clara said. What did she say? I read it aloud. Clara scoffed. She's nervous. That's new. I typed back slowly. Just focusing on my work. Hope you're well. That's it. Clara asked. That's enough, I said. Let her wonder. Later that day, I met Evan, a second-year student Clara introduced me to. You're the one Hargrove's been talking about, he said, shaking my hand. If you want, I can help you understand how the committee thinks. I'd appreciate that, I replied. I don't want to make mistakes. Evan smiled. Smart. People think power is loud. It's not. It's about timing. Timing, I repeated, the words settling into me. During the video interview, one panelist asked, how do you handle conflict? I answered honestly. I observe first. I act only when I understand the full picture. They exchanged glances. I knew I'd said the right thing. That evening, another message popped up. Damien, didn't expect you to aim so high. Careful not to embarrass yourself. I laughed softly. He still thinks I'm the same, I said. Let him, Clara replied. That's the advantage. I didn't respond. I sat back, feeling something unfamiliar spread through me. Control. Not wild, not cruel, measured. But this isn't revenge yet, I told myself. This is positioning. A few days later, Victoria confronted me during a campus event. So, she said sharply, you think you're special now? I met her eyes, calm. I think I've always been capable. I just stopped hiding it. Her smile faltered for half a second. Don't get ahead of yourself. I won't, I said softly. I'm very patient. As she walked away, I felt it, that small thrill. Not victory, not satisfaction. Just the quiet knowledge that the board I stood on was shifting. This is only the first move, I whispered to myself. And I'm not rushing. I'm playing it right. I noticed Victoria the moment she walked into the lecture hall, her eyes scanning for me like a predator. She smirked when she saw me taking notes. Still trying to impress everyone? She whispered, leaning toward the girl next to her. I didn't flinch. Instead, I murmured under my breath. Let her try. She's going to underestimate me. After class, she cornered me near the lockers. I don't like seeing you here, pretending you belong, she said, voice low but sharp. I belong wherever I choose, I replied calmly. Her lips twitched. Don't get cocky. One wrong move, and you'll regret it. I smiled faintly. Funny, that's exactly what I was thinking about you. Later, I overheard her trying to contact Professor Hargrove, suggesting I wasn't ready for the upcoming project evaluations. She's too inexperienced, Victoria insisted. She'll ruin the group. I waited, watching silently. Timing mattered. I knew I had to let her act first. The next day, during the group presentation, Victoria tried to interrupt me, pointing out supposed mistakes. "Are you sure about this? It doesn't make sense," she said, smirking at the committee. I stayed calm. "I double-checked the data," I said, projecting confidence. "Here's why it works," and I walked them through my calculations. Every question she threw at me, I answered before anyone else could. Professor Hargrove raised an eyebrow. Impressive, thorough, and precise. Victoria's smirk faltered for a split second. I felt a thrill, but I also clenched my jaw. Satisfaction mixed with something else, guilt. I wasn't supposed to enjoy this. "You," she hissed under her breath after the meeting. I didn't respond. Let her frustration work for me. Patience was everything. That evening, my phone buzzed. "Damien. I don't get it. You're different. What are you doing over there?" I chuckled quietly. He notices. I murmured to Clara when we met later. But he still doesn't see the full picture. Clara nodded. "Good. Keep it that way. Let them underestimate you. It's the best weapon you have." I spent the next week tightening my influence, subtly helping classmates, gaining small endorsements from faculty, and staying invisible to those who might oppose me. Victoria tried multiple times to sabotage me, spreading rumors, questioning my methods, but each attempt backfired. "You're really something," Evan said one night as we reviewed the upcoming project schedule. "Victoria's trying hard, but you stay 2 steps ahead every time." "I've learned," I said softly, though my stomach twisted with the awareness of how cold I was becoming. "Control is necessary, but it doesn't feel right all the time." "You're doing what you need to," Clara reminded me. "Emotion clouds judgment. Detachment keeps you sharp." I nodded, repeating it to myself. Detachment keeps me sharp. One afternoon, Damien appeared at the lab, watching me work. "I don't understand. You're different. More confident, like you're not the same girl." "I've grown," I said simply, continuing my calculations without looking at him. "It's not about proving anything to you." He frowned, suspicion clear in his eyes. "Are you planning something?" I smiled faintly. "Planning is survival," I said softly. "Something you'll understand only later." That night, I sat in the dorm, reviewing every move. Victoria's desperation was now obvious, Damien's suspicion was growing, and I felt the intoxicating mix of power and guilt. "Revenge is dangerous," I whispered to myself. "And delicious. I need to stay detached, calculated, precise." I leaned back, letting the thrill settle. This was only the beginning. The board was shifting, and I was finally in control. "I don't understand your method," Lila snapped, standing over my shoulder as I adjusted the presentation slides. "This doesn't make sense." "I've double-checked everything," I said calmly, not meeting her glare. "The logic works. You just haven't seen it from this angle." She crossed her arms. "You're trying to outshine everyone, aren't you? Always the perfectionist." I swallowed hard. "I'm just focused. That's all." Later, I found Clara in the library. "She's relentless," I muttered. "Lila won't stop trying to sabotage me." Clara leaned back, thoughtful. "Maybe it's because she's insecure. You're making her feel powerless." "I know," I admitted, voice tight. "But is this me now? Manipulating people, making them falter? I don't want to become like Victoria." Clara's eyes softened. "It's a fine line. Power changes people. You have to decide how far you're willing to go." I nodded silently, my stomach twisting. The next day, a minor mistake happened during group work. One of my calculations was misread, and it could have exposed my oversight. I felt my chest tighten. Did anyone notice? I whispered to Evan as he handed me notes. "Just a few, but nothing permanent," he said. "You handled it quickly. No one knows it's your fault." I exhaled, relief mixing with frustration. Even small slips can unravel everything. I can't let this happen." That night, I avoided social calls and texts. My family asked if I was okay, but I lied again. I'm fine, I said, voice hollow. Just tired. Clara found me reviewing my notes again. You've been pushing yourself too hard, she said. I have to stay ahead, I muttered. Every move counts. Every favor I've earned, every influence I've built, it can't be wasted. You're isolating yourself, she said softly, even from those who care about you. I know, I whispered. But if I slow down, I risk losing control. I can't let anyone see weakness, not yet. A week later, Lila confronted me again in the cafeteria. You think you're untouchable, she said, voice loud enough for nearby students to hear. But you're not. You're just like everyone else. I looked up, calm, my hands steady. Maybe. But right now, I'm the one who's prepared. You're not. She stared for a moment, hesitation flickering across her face. I saw it, the crack in her confidence, and I felt a pang. Satisfaction mixed uneasily with guilt. You're ruthless, she muttered, walking away. I leaned back in my chair, trying to push down the unease. Ruthless. The word echoed in my mind. I wanted revenge, but I didn't want to lose myself entirely. That night, I whispered to myself, every choice has a price. Power, influence, it's intoxicating. But I can't let it destroy me. My phone buzzed with a message from Clara. Remember to breathe. Don't let the strategy consume you. I stared at the screen. She was right. Every victory felt sharp and hollow at the same time. I was achieving what I wanted, control, influence, but the cost was slowly stacking. Isolation, exhaustion, and a creeping doubt about who I was becoming. I'm strong, I whispered to the empty room. But being strong doesn't mean being heartless. I need to remember that. And yet, deep down, I knew the path I'd chosen wouldn't allow many pauses. Every step forward demanded a sacrifice. I walked through the campus courtyard, the autumn air crisp, when I heard a familiar voice call my name. Is that you? I froze. Turning slowly, I saw Emma, my childhood friend, smiling hesitantly. Her presence hit me like a wave I didn't expect. Emma, I whispered, my throat tight. I didn't expect to see you here. She stepped closer. I stayed here. Things changed slowly for me. And you just left, chasing something bigger. I had to leave, I said quickly. You know why. I had to get stronger. I know, she said softly. But seeing you now, it's different. You're not the same girl who hid in the library corners. I laughed nervously. I'm stronger, I guess. Smarter. But my voice faltered. I've also learned to survive in ways I never imagined. Emma's eyes narrowed slightly. I can see it. You're different. Not just confident, something else. Calculated. I have to be. I admitted, my heart tightening. I've made mistakes, let people hurt me. I can't let that happen again. She looked down, then back at me. I remember when we used to dream together, before Victoria and Damien. We were fearless, innocent. Now, I barely recognize you. I know, I whispered. I miss that version of me, sometimes. But I can't go back. Not now. Not with them still waiting to mock me. Emma reached out, but I stepped back. I have to focus. Please understand. I do, she said, voice trembling slightly. I hope you don't lose yourself completely. I won't, I said firmly. I'll remember who I am. But I can't forget what they did. Later, my phone buzzed. Victoria had sent another message. Still thinking you're clever? You'll see. I stared at it, fingers tightening. Damien's post followed. Careful not to trip on your own plans. I sighed, pressing my thumb against the screen. They still think I'm the same timid girl. I murmured. They have no idea. Clara found me sitting alone in the lounge. They underestimate you because they're arrogant, she said. That's their weakness. I know, I replied quietly. But arrogance is dangerous too. It makes them blind. Emma's words echoed in my mind. Don't lose yourself completely. I closed my eyes, thinking about the girl I used to be, the one who laughed freely, who trusted people easily. That girl was still inside me, buried beneath years of pain, humiliation, and survival. I haven't lost her, I whispered. I'll never lose her. But she's smarter now. Wiser. Clara nudged me gently. You're ready. Keep moving forward. They won't see it coming. I smiled faintly, letting the thought settle. Victoria and Damien's arrogance blinds them. Yes, but my own shadows, my past memories, remind me why I fight and who I fight for. They think they know me, I whispered, staring at the campus gates. They don't. Not anymore. And when they realize, it'll be too late. The chill in the air felt like a promise. Change was coming, and I would be ready. I watched the committee room from the corner, careful to stay unnoticed. Professor Hargrove's gaze swept the students, lingering on me briefly. I smiled faintly, feeling the weight of anticipation. Are you ready? Clara whispered, standing beside me. I'm ready, I said quietly. Everything depends on timing. Across the room, Victoria sat stiffly, scrolling through her notes, unaware I had already predicted her strategy. Damien leaned back in his chair, smirking like he always did. Arrogance clung to him like a second skin. You'll regret underestimating me, I whispered, more to myself than anyone else. When the evaluation began, I presented my proposal clearly, answering every question before anyone could challenge me. Each word was measured, each gesture deliberate. Victoria leaned forward suddenly. Are you sure your numbers add up? That seems risky, she said, trying to cast doubt. I've triple-checked the calculations, I said calmly. The outcome is reliable, and here's why. I turned to the committee, projecting confidence. Risk is only dangerous if you ignore data. I've considered every variable. Her smirk faltered. I didn't expect you to anticipate all that. Damien whispered something to her, but I caught the tone, confusion, maybe fear. Their arrogance was cracking. After the presentation, I stayed in the hallway, pretending to review my notes. Victoria approached, her voice sharp. You think you're clever now? You've crossed a line. I've just learned how to use what I have, I replied, keeping my tone even. You made your choices, and I made mine. You'll pay for this, she hissed. Maybe, I said softly, but not today. Later, I received an unexpected message from the internship board. We are impressed with your performance and strategic thinking. You're a top candidate. My chest tightened with satisfaction, but I reminded myself to stay calm. They're going to see, I whispered to Clara. Damien and Victoria, they're exposed. Clara smiled. They underestimated you. Classic mistake. That evening, Damien cornered me near the lab. What are you doing over there? You're different. Planning something? I'm planning my future, I said simply, letting the words carry authority. It's nothing personal, just strategic. Strategic, he sneered, suspicion sharpening his features. Careful, you're treading dangerous waters. I know, I replied calmly, but it's necessary. And sometimes, the waters reveal who's really capable. Victoria appeared, glaring. You're not going to humiliate us in front of everyone. I met her gaze steadily. Humiliation is not my goal. Reclaiming my dignity is. You chose your path, and now I'm choosing mine. Her lips trembled for a fraction of a second, but she masked it quickly. Damien's jaw clenched. Both of them, so powerful in their arrogance, finally looked vulnerable. I felt a surge of something I hadn't expected. Not triumph, exactly, but relief. Control wasn't just about revenge. It was about reclaiming myself, proving that I had value, intelligence, and strength. Everything changes now, I whispered to myself. I'm not their victim. I'm not the girl they mocked. I'm the one holding the board, the power, and the decisions. Clara leaned in, eyes gleaming, and they have no idea what hit them. I smiled faintly, allowing a small thrill to settle in my chest. Yes, this was strategic, precise, and yes, it was a taste of revenge. But more than that, it was proof I could rise, that I could survive, and that I could reclaim everything they tried to take from me. This is only the beginning, I whispered. But today is mine. I watched the news feed scroll across my laptop, barely breathing. Victoria's misstep at the conference had gone viral, her proposal miscalculated, her panic visible for everyone to see. She's humiliated herself, Clara whispered beside me, eyes wide. I know, I said softly, trying not to let the satisfaction show too much. But it's not just about her. What do you mean? She asked. It's the proof that arrogance blinds people, I said, fingers tapping the desk. Damien too. They both believed they were untouchable. At that moment, a message popped up from Damien. This can't be happening. How did you? I stared at it, my heart tightening. Not with triumph, exactly, but with the weight of everything it took to get here. You're different, Clara said. You planned, you waited, and now. Justice isn't simple, I murmured. It's messy. And satisfying, yes. But also hollow, in a way I didn't expect. I recalled the years I spent being invisible, the humiliation that had burned in me every day. And now, seeing them stumble, it was bittersweet. Victoria sent another message. You'll regret this. You'll see. I smiled faintly. No, Victoria, I whispered. I've learned patience. I've learned to wait. And you didn't see me coming. That afternoon in the lab, Damien confronted me. This wasn't fair, he said, anger tinged with fear. You're manipulating everyone. I'm using my skills, I said calmly, letting my tone carry authority. You used yours to belittle and harm. Consider this balance. He clenched his fists. Balance. Yes, I said quietly. You thought your arrogance protected you. It didn't. And now you see what happens when someone underestimated. Victoria appeared beside him, eyes blazing, but less confident than before. You think you're better than us? She hissed. I'm not better, I replied, voice steady. I'm prepared. That's the difference. They glared, helpless in ways they never had been with me before. I felt a strange mixture of satisfaction and melancholy, a reminder of the girl I used to be, who had cried in hallways, powerless. Later, I walked alone across the campus, recalling every step that led me here. The sleepless nights, the meticulous planning, the quiet victories. I am stronger, I whispered to myself. But power, it comes with a cost. Clara found me sitting on the bench. You're quiet today. Not triumphant. I shook my head. I feel victorious, yes. But also a little empty. I got what I wanted, but the journey, it changed me. Not all for the better. That's growth, she said softly. You reclaimed yourself. That's more than revenge. I nodded. I needed them to see me, but I also needed to see myself. The girl I was, she's still inside me. But now she's sharper, cautious, stronger. And yes, a little guarded. The evening sky painted the campus in warm hues. I looked at Victoria and Damien's faces in my mind, broken, humbled, finally aware of what they lost. I hope you learn, I whispered, voice low. Not just from my revenge, but from your own arrogance. I hope it teaches you something meaningful. I closed my eyes, letting the mixed emotions settle. Empowered, triumphant, and yet, quietly a little lonely, because rising above them had required leaving part of me behind. I sat in the quiet of my dorm, the glow from my laptop casting long shadows. The victory felt hollow, despite the messages of congratulations piling in. You did it, Clara said, sitting beside me. They finally see you. You've won. Yes, I whispered, my voice soft. But at what cost? She tilted her head. Cost. All of it, I said. The late nights, the isolation, the careful planning, even seeing Victoria and Damien humbled, it doesn't feel as satisfying as I imagined. Clara studied me for a moment. You wanted control, and you have it. But maybe you're realizing that power alone doesn't fill the spaces inside. I looked down at my hands, tense. I expected triumph, exhilaration. Instead, I feel alone and guilty for enjoying their downfall, even if it was justified. That's normal, she said gently. Revenge changes you, even when it's earned. You're allowed to feel conflicted. I exhaled, voice low. I thought I could reclaim everything they took from me and feel whole. But the girl I used to be, the one Emma knew, is gone. I've traded innocence for strategy, compassion for patience. Clara reached out, resting a hand on mine. You're not gone. You've evolved. Strength has a price, but it also gives clarity. You're wiser now. You see the consequences before they happen. I suppose, I murmured, staring at the ceiling. Even my allies. I've kept at a distance. I couldn't risk being vulnerable. Every move I made was calculated. You had to, she said. And now you have the power to choose differently. I swallowed hard. Different, yes. But choosing differently means facing the reality of what I've become. I've won, but I've lost, or at least changed irreversibly. Clara nodded. And that's the truth of ambition. Revenge never leaves anyone untouched. I leaned back, thinking about the faces of Victoria and Damien. Arrogance replaced with vulnerability, ignorance replaced with realization. The power shift was complete, yet I felt an ache where satisfaction should have been. They're not the only ones paying a price, I whispered. I am too. Clara smiled softly. And that's why mentors exist. To remind you that even the strongest need guidance, reflection, and support. I nodded slowly. I've learned that. I've learned patience, strategy, and how to wield influence. But I've also learned how much loneliness and vigilance can weigh on a person. And you're still capable of connection, she said. You just need to allow it carefully. I let out a small, humorless laugh. Carefully, yes. Even that word feels calculated now. But maybe it's necessary. If I want to protect myself and what I've earned, I can't rush into trust. Clara's eyes met mine. You've reclaimed yourself. That's the true victory. Not revenge. Not humiliation. You. I nodded, letting the thoughts sink in. I suppose closure isn't about seeing them fall. It's about accepting who I've become, the choices I've made, and learning to live with the consequences. Exactly, she said. And you're strong enough to do it. I leaned back in my chair, staring out the window at the darkened campus. The wind rustled the trees, carrying memories of humiliation, struggle, and triumph. I am stronger, I whispered to myself. But power and revenge, they have a price. And the cost is everything I've learned about who I am. Still, I survived. I rose. And maybe that's enough. A quiet smile touched my lips. Victory is never simple, but I am here. I am whole in my own, imperfect way. I stood at the edge of the campus courtyard, the autumn wind tugging at my hair. Victoria and Damien were there, waiting for a confrontation. I didn't feel the need to rush. You're really going to do this? Victoria asked, voice trembling slightly. After everything. Do what? I replied calmly, though my heart thumped. You know, she said, eyes narrowing. Show everyone that I was wrong. Humiliate us completely. I shook my head slowly. I don't need to humiliate anyone. That part is done. You've already seen the consequences of your actions. Damien crossed his arms. So, this is it? No revenge. I've had revenge, I said softly. And it was necessary. But it's not the end. Victoria laughed nervously. Not the end? Then what do you want? I want to choose, I said firmly, letting the weight of my words settle. I can keep punishing you, or I can let the past stay where it belongs. You're letting us go? Damien asked, disbelief in his tone. Yes, I replied. Because holding on to anger, letting it define me, that's not what I want anymore. Victoria blinked, stunned. After everything? After all you went through? I've been through a lot, I said quietly. Humiliation, betrayal, endless nights of planning and waiting. And I've learned revenge isn't about destroying others. It's about reclaiming yourself. Clara had taught me that. Power is control, but control over yourself matters most. I remembered Emma's warning too. Don't lose yourself completely. I exhaled, feeling the tension release slightly. I've chosen to rise above. To keep my dignity, my integrity. You've had your lessons. I've had mine. Damien's jaw clenched. And we're supposed to just accept this? You'll accept it because it's reality, I said firmly. Arrogance blinded you, and pride let you underestimate me. But I'm not here to destroy you further. That's not what victory feels like. Victoria's shoulders slumped. You're different now. Stronger, smarter, and merciful. Not merciful, I said. Aware. I see the cost of hatred. I've paid it in full. I turned to the campus gates, feeling the wind against my face. I have a choice to make every day, whether to let the past define me or to walk forward. And I choose forward. Clara stepped beside me. It's hard. Letting go doesn't feel like triumph, but it's stronger than revenge. I know, I said softly. It feels strange, empty almost, but also liberating. I can think clearly now. I can build, create, and live without being chained by anger. Victoria's voice broke the quiet. You're leaving us behind then? I nodded. I'm leaving behind the pain, the humiliation, the obsession with proving myself. You will live your lives with the lessons learned. I will live mine without resentment weighing me down. Damien shook his head. You're fearless. I've learned to be, I said quietly. Fearless, not reckless. Strong, not cruel. And finally free. As they walked away, I felt a curious lightness. The years of scheming, planning, sleepless nights, all of it had led here. The weight of anger and revenge lifted, leaving only clarity. Clara nudged me gently. You're ready. Yes, I whispered. I'm ready. I breathed in the crisp autumn air, letting it fill me with resolve. The girl who had been mocked, laughed at, and dismissed, she was still inside me, but transformed. Stronger, wiser, cautious, and capable of controlling her own fate. I don't need to prove anything anymore, I murmured to myself. The past is behind me. The future is mine. And for the first time in years, I smiled without guilt, without tension, without doubt. I had reclaimed my life, my dignity, and my power, not through vengeance, but through choice. I walked forward into the crisp evening, each step deliberate, each breath steady. The shadows of betrayal and mockery were gone, replaced by lessons learned, strength earned, and freedom claimed. I was no longer the girl they had mocked. I was the woman I had chosen to become. And finally, I was whole.